Nikki, I love your photo.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I took it. We moved, and so we got a fireplace, and I was like, this like goes with my brand colors. I'm taking pictures here.
Yes, I love it. How's Germany, Courtney?
Germany is fine. It's getting colder. So, but the mosquitoes are still out, which is not good. But it's fine.
We're in like
It's getting colder.
wildfire central. I was like, oh, we're in like wildfire central over here.
Yeah, I like literally America's on fire. So
Literally.
how are you guys doing?
So we're getting the aftermath. So our air quality is really bad. We have like our like one of those gnarly air filters on like full blast all day. My friends, I have tons of friends that are in the Bay Area, and they are just like, it's orange and red.
Yeah.
And then I have friends in Oregon who've had to leave the state. So yeah.
Where in Oregon? Like I've seen from my friend in Portland, she was posting like air quality videos or like air quality really bad. Another one was like posting pictures of the wind and like smoke.
My friends in Portland had to leave because they have a little one and they were scared because of her asthma. And then friends in Salem that were like out. So nuts. So yeah, Isabel knows we had some like freak heat wave over the weekend. it was like what we
lifting outside.
It was like unheard. It's like never like that hot. It was to the point like and then you have to wear your mask everywhere. So we're just like, we had to go look at this new apartment and we were like sweating, just so nasty. Oh my God. So.
Well, and then Denver had snow because they had a cold. They had a cool wave, not a heat wave. The opposite of a heat wave.
I saw that too. I have one of my story sisters. She's in Denver and she's posting like her dogs and her kids running in snow, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening to America? And I'm here in a little bubble.
Global warming. Well, actually, my boyfriend's dad and his sister his dad's sister took a road trip to Colorado to visit Aaron's brothers, and they had like perfect weather, and then they found out the snowstorm was coming, and it's horrible to drive in Denver in snow. I've had to do it. So like they left early because they wanted to beat the storm. I'm like, what is going on? And then they came back, and I guess on their drive back, they could see all the fires everywhere.
Oh, fuck.
I'm sure was just nuts. But I'm really excited to lead today. How's everyone feeling overall? Okay, kind of heavy.
If I'm being honest, I'm super excited for today because I'm on like the heavier side, and I'm like, I need like some journaling. I need some collabs. Like, let's get my mind right. Let's get this going.
So, like full transparency, I'm very vocal about it. I struggle with anxiety, and it's a lot of us do, and this is a really heavy time, and especially for those that struggle with mental health issues, this is like an even harder time for a lot of us, and it puts us in like a really bad mental spot. So I saw a quote the other day, and I thought since we didn't have our Monday Thrive call with Kara, I thought like, let's start off with a quote, because I feel like everything that's going on right now in the world is just really heavy. So I thought, let's start off with a quote, and then I wanted to give everyone like a little like mini exercise. So this quote I thought was awesome. So, just because you carry it well doesn't mean it isn't heavy. And I think that's a really great quote. If anybody wants to say like what that does for them or how it makes them feel. Hey, Felice. Hey, Trish. So I was just reciting a quote that I heard, or I saw the other day, and I thought was really great, and I wanted to share with the group. So it's, just because you carry it well doesn't mean it isn't heavy. And Gail, so like for me, I was like, wow, this is really great, because like I'm one of those people, like I internalize everything, and I thought like, God, this is so good, because some people will never know like what is going on like in my head or in my heart, like how like things affect me. But I need to also remember like it's okay that I'm letting it be heavy right now. So that's kind of how I took the quote. Anyone else like the quote? Yeah, Mikkel. Awesome. So I thought we could start today with something super simple before we get into the discussion. I am a big fan of, oh, Gail, sorry. It's just because you carry it well doesn't mean it isn't heavy. Right? You can talk. Go ahead.
Oh, you can hear me. I'm not muted. I'm like, No, genuinely, guys, I just want to let you know that if you guys are like me, then you might be referred to as a strong, independent woman. You know, if you're running your own business, you might consider yourself someone who's got enough of that grit to really get things done in your life. And you've seen yourself prove it over and over and over again, right? And you see other people doing it and they make it look so easy. Mm-hmm. And I can say that when I've reached out to people and say, how the heck are you just blowing this out of the water? And their response is, oh, la, 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 I'm just doing it. I just feel like a failure. I'm like, I am scraping by. I'm trying to figure everything out. I got like tendonitis in my neck, you know, like I got all kinds of issues, you know. And then I have a really fortunate reminder to have a group like this. And I have I have a social network within my community for what I do. And then I have my mom who's straight up like, wait, no. This is your life. You've got this, you've got your kid, you've got your obligations, you've got what you're trying to take on. And it might be a bigger picture than anything you could have possibly ever imagined for yourself doing. So the accomplishment itself is huge. And the whole idea is to keep going to see where it lands. My goal for this, by this, I mean running my own business, not just going back to work, literally never once applying to one UI UX job. Don't tell anyone, Natasha, I've never applied to another UI UX job since I got laid off from my last job. I want to see where this goes. And every time I hit another goal, it's not good enough. I'm like, all right, on to the next one. You know, like when I graduated, I was like, all right, time to have my kid. Like, not kidding. I was 8 months pregnant walking across the stage, like graduating. That's just how my brain works. So this quote really makes me think that the weight of everything, just because it might look easy on the outside to some people, doesn't mean that it's not something that I'm carrying every day and pushing through every day, just like everybody else in their own way. So I love having this group to know that we're not alone.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times as women, we're unfortunately taught to not be as vocal with our feelings, and not to be, you know, we always want to be viewed as strong and that we can do whatever and nothing phases us and nothing bothers us, right? Because we've had to overcome a lot to get where we're at. And for me, I had a really hard August, and I had a meeting with 2 male executives, and it total PTSD triggered me, like, to my old corporate life. And I remember sitting there thinking like, oh my God, like, am I doing the right thing? Am I worthy? Am I worth it? And then I sat there and I was like, why are they going to dictate all of the things I've accomplished on my own? Because they needed it to kind of be combative with me. And like, those are a lot of struggles I dealt with in my corporate life and climbing up the corporate ladder, like working with the C-levels. So like, it was a good reminder that like, this is where I'm supposed to be and do what I'm supposed to do. And I don't really care what they think. So, and one more thing to Gail's point, you know, I think some people like back to like, as women, like we just not hide things, but internalize them. I know I'm very guilty of internalizing things. But, you know, at times it's okay to say, I'm just not okay. Like I need someone to talk to. I need people to know I'm just like, this is heavy and I need someone to just talk to about this. and it's healthy and it's good, and you should all have that support system. I mean, look at all of us here, you know, we all support each other, and I think that that's amazing.
Can I show you guys something real quick? I don't know if you know this, but I make enamel pins. I'm an artist, and I do this for a living. I make silly pins, but I put a lot of myself in my work. And this month is this design, and you probably can't see it, but it says, "I'm not okay." It's this little like grilled cheese dude, and he's just upset, and he's crying, and his words are, "I'm not okay." And this is exactly for what Natasha was saying. For those of us who are having our own little meltdowns, our own big meltdowns, and just literally those words, "I'm not okay," and how okay it is to just say that out loud in those moments is what I represent in my work. I'm not gonna lie, like that statement exactly is the reason why I created this design.
And I've been wanting grilled cheese, so that's amazing. So something I wanted to start off with today, I do this every day. I've been doing it for the past probably almost a year now. I start my day with gratitude, and it might not be like first thing in the morning when I wake up, because I know some people are super disciplined. It might be at 12 o'clock. It might be at 3 o'clock. It might be at the end of the day, but I like to start my day with what I'm grateful for. And so literally what that looks like is this, just like a little piece in my planner or a notebook. I used to be a notebook, and I just say like what I'm grateful for. So what I thought we could all do, like as I said, bring some scratch paper if you have it, or if you can put it on your computer. But I thought we could take like a minute just to write down like 3 or 4 things that you're grateful for today. And I'm happy to share my list with you guys just to give you like an idea. And this always helps me kind of reset and make me realize like, okay, things aren't so bad. So today I'm grateful for waking up, a roof over my head, my loved ones, and my business. So if you guys want, I thought it'd be great just to have a little jot down.
I do this too, Natasha, every single day. And today I wrote being alive, my husband, my kids, my creativity, and the cooler weather, because I'm in Arizona, and it was like 75 this morning, and that was awesome.
I love that. Yeah, there's days that I'm like, I don't have a lot of projects today. You know, I mean, there are days that I write things like that, but today, like just reflecting where there's like a lot of heaviness and sadness in the world, I was like, I'm going to get back to the core of what I'm really grateful for.
One of the things that I've learned in this practice is also to state the things you're grateful for, and then some things that are struggles or bad things in your life, and express gratitude for them. It is transformative. And that word is so like high level, it's transformative. People throw that out for so many things. But what I mean by that is on the inside, it really does help you shift your gears, because I'll be stirred up about something, and then I'll go to the person, I'll talk to my closest people about how much it stresses me out. But what about the gratitude behind it? And then figuring out if you can hold on to that and have that ease the burden that you're putting on yourself and the mental stress you're putting on yourself. Because if you're like me, I noticed that the hardest things in my life are the most difficult part of it is how I'm reacting to it, how stressed out I am about it. I don't even acknowledge the fact, it's hard in those moments to acknowledge the fact that no one else is having this problem. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the problem that I'm creating that it is a problem. I'm like, yeah, but it's not affecting other people the way that it's affecting me, or the worry and concern about the potential negative future is more of like what I'm expressing to everybody versus what's actually happening. Everything's actually, for the most part, fine if I take a step away from it. So for things like right now, I wrote, I'm happy to have more goals than I can manage. And that's silly, right? Because there's so many things that I want to do, and I'm either working my ass off or I'm laying down and doing nothing because it's just so much. I just can't manage it. But I'm happy to have more goals than I can manage, because the opposite means that I've got no goals, and that I've got that I'm missing out on something I could be pursuing or balancing and prioritizing against something else. So that's silly enough. There's other personal things in my life I'm not going to state, but stating gratitude and having, praying for the other individuals involved in your struggles is transformative. It helps you come in without fear. It helps you come in with less anxiety to whatever thing you have to tackle that whole day.
Thank you. Anyone
Can
else?
I add
Yeah.
on to what Gail was saying? First of all, thank you, Natasha. This is awesome that you took over today. But the heaviness, to start with that, I feel like we're all feeling it. And so I like to do the gratitude, and something that I've taught my clients through psychotherapy and now redoing it for myself is doing the gratitude and then saying, I'm thrilled about this situation because, so then it forces your brain to search for a solution or a new perspective and a more adaptive or empowering perspective. So what I was grateful for, I wrote down my baby's health, our home, and my transformation. I don't know if there's any other Virgos on here, but I feel like even if you're not, we've all been going through transformation. And I'm like, I'm tired of learning the lessons. I can't handle anymore, damn it. But I've been practicing giving gratitude and saying, I'm thrilled about this because, and it's just like opens up my perspective to things. And like, you know what, this might be hard. And there's days where I'm crying, but like, I still have this opportunity. So how am I going to show up? And I also wanted to tell you, ladies, if you've never read the book, what is it called? Women Running with Wolves. I would recommend you read it because it talks about the archetypes. And when you were talking earlier, Natasha, about communication and speaking up, I feel like I'm easygoing, but I can be assertive as well. But I didn't realize when the archetype like of the ghost comes in and when we silence ourselves. And for me, it's always like, okay, I want to observe and think about this and then respond rather than react. It's taken me a lot of maturity and work to get to that place. But on the other hand, just noticing if I'm actually silencing myself. And so that has been part of my transformation too. And so I think that book, it kind of helps us to identify when those type of archetypes are coming into play for us and how we can overcome them. And most of all, it's like, okay, I need to be committed to showing up every day, even when I don't feel like it, or even when this archetype, the sabotage is coming in. It's like, okay, I see you. Now I can shift you. But it's a really good book. So I would recommend you guys read it if you are up for reading a book.
I totally wrote that down. I'm like, I'm all about book recommendations. Anyone else have anything to add or say? Talk about how you're doing?
I wanted to say something quick. I just wanted to say how grateful I am for all of you guys. I don't have a lot of close friends, girlfriends, and you all have supported me in ways that I never thought was possible, honestly, to have friends. I mean, so many of you have bought my paintings, you share my stuff on Instagram, and it's easier to wake up and fight what I'm fighting when I know that I have all of you guys. So I just wanted to say I'm thankful for all of you. Even if I don't show up all the time or I'm not here, I am still always thankful for all of you guys.
And we're grateful for you. And we appreciate you showing up, going through what you're going through. Trust me. We love you, girl.
Yes, we do. And now I'm crying.
I know. I'm like,
my camera's off.
I'm like biting my lip, like, oh God. She sent me a print that I bought from her yesterday and wrote me a card, and I was like, I was like, okay. And I was already like having a sad day, and I was just like, oh my God, girl. But no, thank you, Andrea. Seriously, like your fight and like what you're doing, I know it for at least me, and I'm sure others in this group, it makes us realize we can push through as well. So whatever we're going through, because you're definitely fighting. Isabel.
Like raising my hand.
I'm all, just unmute yourself, guys. It's fine.
I know, but like I'm always afraid I'm gonna jump in as soon as someone else does. And
no, you're
fine. Loving this meeting so far. I'm kind of like on the same note as Andrea, just like super grateful for all you guys, and like just like on the idea of heaviness and like carrying this huge load of a startup. It really fucking sucks. But like I'm so grateful for this group. Like I consider this like Powerful Ladies like the 12-step program for entrepreneurs. And like I'm already in 2 other 12-step programs, and like I had a fucking meltdown yesterday. I was like, I can't do this. I can't be this one-man show right now. No one's gonna like me. Everyone's gonna hate this product. I just had one of those shitty, like, everything's gonna fail days. But I got through it, and like was really looking forward to this meeting, because it's like my only reminder. Like I don't have people in my life like you guys. Like I don't have a lot of friends that like run their own businesses and need this. So it's really nice to just have community in that way, and just like representation. So I'm just appreciative and listening, and thank you.
There's a meme, and I know I've posted it. I know Alyssa's posted it, and it's this graph that goes like this, and it talks about being an entrepreneur. And there's days that I saved it, and I'll actually put it in my story today so you guys can see. And it's like the peak. It's like, I'm killing it. Everything's awesome. And this low's like, meltdown. Why am I doing this? Like, what am I torturing myself for? And I feel like that's the road we're all on, as trying to either do side hustles or being an entrepreneur, a lot of you have families and balancing families or multiple projects. Just, there's so much. And it's such a graph. It's just like, it's like a stock market graph, right? It's so crazy. But
it's
we're
like a literal roller coaster.
It's literally a roller, yeah. And the emotions, like, oh my God, I love everything. Oh, why am I doing this? And
I always tell people it's like every other day I either feel like I'm killing it, or I feel like I have no idea what I'm doing. And
that's the same
it's every other day. Sometimes it's every other hour. Like,
yeah.
One thing can change that whole thing and make it go back up.
Yeah.
The best
It's you never know. It's a crapshoot. It's like, oh, today I'm great and I'm killing it, and then the next day you just get like bombarded with like horrible emails, and you're like,
darn it, I'm not killing it.
Best days are when it's all in the same day. You're like, oh man, I'm killing it. Everything's great. And literally later on that day, you're like,
the next hour,
why am I even doing this? Who am I? I'm failing completely. By the way, don't ever take a nap or rest, because you will instantly feel like a failure. You're like, oh man, all that running. If I take a break, I failed on everything. I'm just kidding. Don't listen to me. I'm lying. I'm just telling you. What I'm saying is that's what happens whenever I lay down for like a weekend break. I'm like, oh man, who even am I? Like, what is this? What is this business? Is it fail? Is it actually paying the bills? Like,
I think going off of what Andrew said, and kind of Gail, to your point too, I try to, and I think 2020 in general has
like
taught me this a bit more.
Ago, I checked in.
That was weird. Did anyone else hear that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who that was.
I don't either. Everybody was on mute, so I'm like, okay.
I was like, did I press something? Anyways, sorry guys. That was probably me somewhere. But I think 2020 for me has taught me, like, not even just to be more grateful, but in the sense that switching your mindset and being like, instead of complaining, or like whenever you're trying to complain about something like, oh my God, I don't want to go to work today, or I'm so tired, I don't want to do this, instead saying, I get to go to work today, or I get to do all of these things today, I think has helped my mindset. Because like when we were doing this exercise, the first 2 things I wrote down were like my day job and this side hustle, because I consider myself very lucky and very fortunate that I was able to find another day job like during all of this madness, when I know so many people who are still unemployed and are struggling to put food on the table. And, you know, when that extra $600 unemployment runs out, they have no idea what they're going to be doing. And so I think, you know, yeah, I might be working so much more now because I have a 9-to-5 and I have the side hustle that's starting to take off. It's like, I get to do that. And that helps me kind of, you know, feel better about working 7 days a week and not having time for anybody anymore. But it's also quarantine. So what else do I have to do? Might as well just work.
I like that perspective. And when it comes down to what Isabel said earlier and like the meltdown moment, you start to ask yourself why you're even doing this. I just want to say it's such a great opportunity for you to have a chance to be able to create a product that you believe in. And the success of that product is genuinely 100% a learning experience. Talking about changing the verbiage behind how you're communicating your successes. This is a thing I'm going to talk about a lot when I build my own learning platform. But it's, you know, your baseline understanding of what success means to you, the above the fold, as in like beyond your expectations and how that was just a learning experience, anything that falls below what your expectations were and how that's a learning experience, right? And anytime you have an opportunity to create something, it's a hypothesis. You're saying, I hypothetically feel like there is a need for this, there's a group for this. I feel like I can bring this product to the world and that they're gonna like it. And that it is as it is, as like, you know, solving a problem. You put it out there, you test it, you get some feedback. It's a learning experience. You evolve it. It grows into something else. It grows into something you might not even expect it to, whether it was a success or not. So just having that opportunity to sit back and say, I made an impact, I created something, is like, it's why I do this. You know, it's like why I create silly, stupid little, you know, drawings and turn them into little metal pieces that don't feed anybody and don't clothe anybody. Isabel, you're clothing somebody. I have to wear underwear every day. Every day. You're creating a bed. I'd be like, I have to sleep in this thing.
Do
or
you though?
Something
Do
I
you
have to wear.
it?
Not only that, but I have to own more than once or I'm gross. For underwear, at least. Not for a bed. I only have one. But that's all I'm saying is that you're with the product that you're creating is something that is helping to help people like reach higher heights in their day, and it's beyond your average.
There's also theory behind art therapy, and there's people that collect art because it's therapeutic to them, and there's like, look at the pin collectors at Disneyland and how psychotic they are. Like there's a whole pin community and you're helping that community. And like, you know, I don't downplay yourself because like you're a very talented artist as well. And you have built this business for yourself, and, you know, people are really into pins and trading. And sometimes like people pick a hobby and that's what fulfills them. So maybe buying pins and trading pins is what fulfills them. So, you know, for me, like it's always been makeup to this day. And it's like, I can't escape my makeup past world. I went to Ulta to pick up my online to-go order yesterday. And I was like, ooh, I need this new eyeshadow palette. No, I didn't. So, you know, I mean, it's one of those things like, you don't ever think like people don't need your services or they're not helping, because they are, like, especially the art community. So, okay, so the next half hour, let's talk about the subject at hand, clients and customers. So, Kara and I kind of brainstormed a few prompts and questions for this week. So, first thing, how have you chosen your current clients or customers? So what have you done to identify your clients, your customers, and if you have any struggles or questions with that as a group, we can collaborate. Anyone want to kick that off? Courtney.
Unmute myself. Sorry, I'm eating dinner while I listen. This is what I do when we talk. So my client right now is, when I first started, it was basically looking at more targeting females, gluten-free, dairy-free, who were looking for a healthy breakfast. The more that I've sold, it's actually, I'm realizing it's an older customer. So it tends to be 35 or over 30, about 32 to 45, even plus. Usually moms with kids, they want something healthy. They don't mind spending a little bit more for it. They know it's good quality. So that's good. But at the same time, they're also too busy to post or be like, hey, this was great. Like they tell me, but if I run into them and see them, they're like, no, I love it. Or they order it again. And I have a couple of outlier male customers who are repeat customers and buy, but I tend to target the female because it's just, I don't want to be trying to talk to everybody. And originally I was looking into like trying to speak to athletes as well, but I still can, but it's also, I feel like I've fallen into this vegan yoga world and I'm not vegan or yoga. So it's, I could talk to them, but I don't think powerlifters really care, but like some powerlifters like my granola, but only one's bought some.
So how are you acquiring the customers right now? Is it Instagram? Is it word of mouth, email?
Yeah, mainly Instagram and word of mouth. I'm not the best with email marketing because I feel, I don't know, like I'm just like I don't want to be too salesy, and I have so much junk email in my own inbox, even from companies that I like that I just delete most of them. So I only email when it's like something new, but it's mainly been Instagram and word of mouth. So it's like somebody texted me on Instagram the other day. He's like, hey, I heard about your granola. The guy, he was like, I heard about your granola. I work at Audi. How do I get some? I was like, well, just place an order and just say local pickup and tell me you work at Audi and I'll meet you at work.
Awesome.
And most of my customers also work for Adidas, so that helps.
So definitely word of mouth.
Yeah. But it's very slow.
Wait, can I?
So like I'll have like 2 days in a row where I have orders and I'm doing a little dance. I'm like, I sold stuff, yay! And then it's like a week or two of nothing, and I'm like, maybe granola is not the right business for me. I don't know. And then it'll probably kick up in like a week or so, and then I'll get all happy again.
And I wanted to say something real quick to Courtney saying she doesn't want to be too salesy. And I saw this post the other day that I saved because I'm like, I'm going to put this quote up on my page at some point. And because I love things that are unapologetic and like kind of direct. And it goes, if you're not going to sell in your business, why exactly did you start one? So don't ever feel too salesy. Like you're selling something because you have a business. So don't ever feel like you're being overly salesy.
Yeah. And I think like, I'm not sure if you have a referral program, but if you are so heavy with word of mouth, maybe do something like a punch card system, but not like a physical punch card where you're monitoring how many times they order or they send over a referral, and give them like some incentive to keep spreading that word of mouth if you're, doing it. Or Instagram contests are always like such huge hits for people. So things along those lines, I think, are going to be great, especially because I'm your target demographic. I'm totally like your age range, like my food allergies, all of that. I would be like all over it if I saw it. And I was like, oh my God, like, ooh, look at this contest. I enter contests all the time. I never win, but I enter them. I tag everybody. And then I'm also the type like too, like when I find a product I really like I do a lot of Instagram shopping. When I find a product I like off Instagram, I'll like reshare it and tag it and all of that, because I think it's important, like supporting small businesses. So maybe changing your messaging with your clients, like, hey, I'm a small business. I'd love for you guys to share and post about me when you can. I'll give you X amount off your next order, or give you an extra sample of something you want to try, something along those lines.
Like I do sometimes do that. I don't do it all the time. I did a giveaway while I was on holiday, and I had a local, they're actually blowing up, at least according to their Instagram, a local milk company. They do pea milk. And I emailed them. I was like, what's the worst that can happen? They can say no. And I was like, hey, I'm doing a giveaway. I would love to also give away your milk with the granola, because what was better with granola than a non-dairy vegan pea milk, right?
Right.
So I did like a little peanut butter pack. So it's pea milk and peanut butter granola. And I had a lot of responses, like they had to follow me and, get special points if they posted it in their stories. But the one person who won, like, has like no posts and no followers, or like she's got like 10 followers. I'm like,
Yeah.
So it's like my boyfriend was like, you should just rigged it and given it to somebody who would have posted about it. And I was like, yeah, but that's not very honest. I can't do that. I'm too honest, I guess. But
that's a good thing though.
But yeah, I'm also like, I even posted today, like, how many people, like, for me, it's important to be able to find things that I can eat, because it's actually like, going to a hotel sucks, because you're like, all right, great, I'm glad I can eat meat, but it's like, all right, well, that cheese and bread buffet looks good for somebody else. And I'm like, who else is conservative or gluten-free? And like, nobody so far has replied gluten-free. I'm like, all right, good. I'm talking to the right group of people then. So I don't know.
Val?
Yeah.
I can tell you guys that when it comes down to understanding your target audience and being a salesperson, I used to serve and I hated being a server because they'd want me to push things that people didn't want on them. But when you understand your target audience and when you have a direct connection to your target audience through your Instagram or through your social media, you know that they're there because they want what you have to give. So being salesy or reaching out to make the connections is, one, being confident that your product is delivering what it is that you're promising, whether it be, happiness or a healthy balanced diet or something like that. Two is like connecting with people, whether it be customers or other businesses that align with your mindset. So it's not salesy when you reach out to someone that really aligns with you, even if it's like an Adidas brand or someone who works there. They're already looking for you, so you can just be completely confident and excited and hype about your own product. You don't have to feel salesy if you're like super hype about it. Like, hey, you want this? I got it. Or, hey, you want it at 25% off? I got that for you too. This is super exciting because I know this is something, considering the fact that I know what my target audience and you all fit within it, this is something you guys want. I'm happy to pawn it off on you, to sell my wares, show up in a trench coat with all your granola and like pawn it off to people. Natasha knows. She used to knock on my desk and be like, hey, you got some of them stickers? And I'd be like, yeah.
I do.
And I wasn't
my laptop
about it, but I definitely went on our chat and said, hey guys, I have new merch. I got new designs. You guys want them? And people who were in my target demographic, people who wanted the product, came and talked to me directly. And anyone else just ignored me and it was fine.
Val, you had something to add? I know you're sorry.
Yeah. So Courtney, what I like to do is I've done a lot of giveaways. And I know that feeling, like when you just feel like you didn't get anything out of the giveaway, especially when you're when you're giving away so much money, right, in hopes of return. But something I love to do is the people who didn't win, well, I have my staff do it, but I have them send them a coupon. Hey, I saw you entered this giveaway, you showed interest in my so-and-so whatever I'm giving away. Here's a 15% off coupon in case for future purchase. So you're still keeping them close. Like, it's so important and that's the thing about giveaways is like, you can't really like focus on the person that wins. You have to focus on the exposure you're getting from the giveaway. And it's hard. I get it, especially when this pandemic first happened, like our closure, because I've been self-employed for 5 years now, but I've owned a brick and mortar for 3 years. And I'm going to be completely honest. We're running a 70% decrease right now this year. We were closed for 6 months and we depend on that walk-in traffic. And, this is my main source of income. I pay my house with this. I pay my children's food with this. I don't have another job, So when it first happened, we were doing a lot of giveaways just to nourish the relationships in our current clientele, to show them how much we do care. Even though we're closed, we're still here. And that's something we had to do and that's how I came up with that coupon idea, because I hated giveaways by this third year. I was like, they don't do anything for me. We get 100 followers and no one clicks on my website link. Like I hated it, but
I had to bite the bullet in March when the closures happened, because that's all I had was internet sales, you know? So I would offer them 15% coupons, everyone who entered. And to give my staff work too, you know, like I wanted to keep them on payroll, which luckily I've been able to. So yeah, so that's an idea that I recommend for sure.
That's a great one. Actually,
that's a very great idea. Thank you.
There was a contest I entered and they sent me a coupon for 20% off, and I was like, I was all excited. Like it literally like hyped me up. I was like, oh my God, now I want to buy it. So yeah, Val, that was a really, really great idea. Okay, so anyone else have anything to contribute to how you've chosen your current clients and customers? Any struggles there? Because it kind of, Val's point leads into the next question was, do you feel you gain as much as you give them? So that's an interesting one. So do you feel like you're gaining, like your ROI, right? Like, are you seeing a return on the investment that you're putting into your business, your client acquisition, your customer acquisition? Like, how do you guys feel about that statement?
So that, if I can, so that statement right there, that's exactly why I kind of changed who my ideal client was. So I started off doing it, you know, sales coaching and stuff for fitness coaches in particular. And I'm on the last week of the program that I launched for them. And during this whole program, I was like, I'm not really feeling this. Like, you know, I feel like I'm giving away, like, I feel like I'm giving so much, like, and they're getting so much value. And I'm putting in like a lot more work than what I actually charged for it. Plus, I'm not like, when people would ask me like, oh, why did you choose that? Why did you choose that? I realized that I couldn't really like deep dive into my why. Like, it's like I would tell the story and then it just kind of like hit a wall. And I'm like, okay, something's not adding up. Like, I should be able to talk about this for hours and hours on end and like really feel passionate about it. So once that started coming to an end, then that's when I really like kind of went back to the drawing board and thought, like, what has been my journey in all of this, you know, since I started this business and set out with this crazy idea, like, I'm going to be a mom and run a business, and what, like, who was I looking for in the beginning? And so that's when I then switched it recently, actually, to helping specifically moms who want to get out of corporate and want to be able to like balance motherhood and entrepreneurship and, you know, spend time with their kids, but also make a full-time income.
Nikki, your phone's cutting out.
Since doing that, it's been like, I feel like my messaging has been a lot more clear. I feel like I've been able to talk about it more when people ask why. Like, there's just like, I have so many stories now to tell versus just like, oh, well, I used to help sell.
Are you there?
You know, personal training packages, and I like that niche. Like, any clients in this niche yet? So I don't, with the pricing and everything, actually feel worthy, if you will. Wi-Fi. So Wi-Fi's bad in here. Am I still cutting out?
A little bit, yeah. It was like doing this robotic lag. I'm like, is it me?
Dang it. That's okay. Someone else can go.
if you put it in the chat and we can read it out loud from there too.
Okay, I will.
Put it in the chat. And then in the meantime, I actually want to ask this to Miranda and Trish, because you guys make these amazing cocktail boxes that I'm like #1 supporter of. So how do you guys feel? Like, do you guys feel like right now, and for those of you guys that don't know or live in the area, they do these curated craft cocktail boxes every other week that are beautiful, and they teach you how to do the cocktails. They have snacks. They even make playlists for your Spotify and Apple Music. It's like unbelievable. They put such beautiful like effort and time into these boxes. So do you guys feel like you're seeing the ROI on it yet, or are you guys still kind of struggling on that one? Soon, I hope.
Well, I feel like we kind of haven't sort of like really unleashed unleashed to the world yet, because we are kind of in this beta phase. So it's hard to say about the ROI, but I think that one of the things that is sort of working in our favor is that people like yourself, people who are receiving the boxes are stoked. So we're getting like a lot of good positive feedback on that. And there have been a couple of people that have been gifted a box, for instance, that may not have known about us and then immediately jumped on board and are both buying and gifting, simultaneously. So that's kind of a promising forward direction, I'd say, for when we kind of are ready to sort of, take that. It's sort of like at the edge of the cliff. It's like we're taking these steps, going towards the skydive, and then it is kind of sky's the limit. But right now we're just kind of almost doing our baby steps. If that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think you guys, there's that learning curve, like, oh, well, what does this box have? And it includes the alcohol. And I think at first, like, I didn't know that. And I was like, well, good thing we have like a fully stocked bar. Like, I wasn't really sure. I thought it was just going to be like the like little like ingredients and just like the fun stuff. And when I saw it was like the full kit and caboodle, I was like, damn. But it's really cool because we've done it as date night, and I have friends who are like, oh my God, that's so perfect because we can't go out, and it gives you something to do. So, definitely keep that going.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think we're trying to figure out what our next step is, like how we're going to level it up. Because I think right now we're not prepared if it did blow up. But we also have this, because we're in California, we have the special obstacle of the liquor license, which is very difficult to get in this state. And then shipping it, there's different laws for where you're shipping it for each state, even down to each county is different. So we're still trying to like do all that research, which is a pain in the ass, but yeah, hope everyone, I mean, not everyone, but people like to drink. Why aren't we rich?
Especially during quarantine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we like, oh God, we love it. Like every week, every other week, I'm like, oh, and just for you guys that do live locally, they're doing their last call on summer. So, and those drinks were delicious.
Yes.
So Nikki posted her pivot and what she's doing with her clients. So something interesting, Nikki, that Kara actually shared with me is the number one demographic that has been hit hardest with the pandemic of being laid off is actually mothers. So that was something really interesting. I thought, oh my God, like really? Because we were doing like her new program, the targeted ads, and we were trying to figure that out. So there's a lot of mothers, single or not, that have been laid off from their jobs. So they actually take up the biggest market space right now.
Ooh, well, I did not know that. That's good to know.
Yeah,
that's
so
really
that's
good to
something
know.
for targeting purposes. If that's what you're going after, they could have been laid off from their corporate job and they're trying to figure out what they can do. Definitely look into that.
I will. Thank you. That's an
course.
awesome tip.
So anyone else have anything on the ROI convo before we move to our last question? Okay, well, the last one is, and this one I was saved for last because I thought this could be like the collaborative portion. So what are your struggles with finding your ideal client? Like, where are you struggling right now? I know we've touched upon it a couple times, like informally, but is there something like you'd love help from the group from? You'd love help kind of fleshing out, since we all kind of have diverse backgrounds, we can all help collaborate.
I would love support. Can you guys hear me okay, or is it cutting out?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I, not to spend too much time on my background, but by career, I'm a licensed therapist, but I made the jump to transformation coach and energy healer. And my ideal client is not necessarily who I'm attracting, which is okay because I'm in service and I think that'll work itself out. But I don't really know where to find my clients. And the clients I've had have been referrals, and they've actually been like women in their mid 20s, which I didn't think would be my ideal client. I thought it would be a woman who's already established, who is recognizing how her unhealed trauma or just having health struggles like I did. So where I was like 2 steps ago, or well, by now it's maybe like 8 steps ago, but I don't really know where to find my clients. And I do have a Facebook group I started years ago just to connect women. So I was told that's my warm market, but I don't really get any referrals from that space. It's mostly just been through my Reiki. Somebody will tell somebody else, and then I'll get more Reiki clients, and then I'll get some coaching, but I don't really know where to go. And yes, I bought a Karis course, so I'm excited to do it. But if anyone has suggestions, I would love them.
I can definitely tell you guys that Instagram provides some really great basic insights when you have your business profile set up. And whether it be 100 people or whether it be 1,000 or 10,000, it feels like the ratio still on the percentage rate will maintain a certain amount. So you might say, it'll tell you that you have, 85% female following, and you have this many people live in this state, and it'll tell you they're between the ages of 32, something to 34 the most, 25 to 34 the most, or something like that. And it could be shocking to see where some of the clientele lie on the smaller end, like, oh, how many above 60s or how many below 18 or something like that might fall on your range. But you can see who your target base level demographics are, and then you can build what you can imagine the persona or the ideal client is that you want to target, because you can't satisfy everybody. Everyone, a 20-year-old is going to have different needs from someone who's in their 30s and well established. When I was 20, I was a different person. That's why I can't date these 20-year-old men who they just have a completely different lifestyle. That's a joke, but I'm so serious. It's like in regards to their mindset, and the priorities might change, right? Or their financial situation might change. So these might also be factors on how you limit or target the demographic, and making a target demographic and structuring your promotional material and anything that you present, and whatever products, whether it be a actual physical product or whether it be a service, to that will start to attract more of that individual. And then you could just have different marketing techniques that you already know and that we're learning here, and through the program that we are both taking, the class that we're both going to take, to figure out how to structure it for them. So the good thing is that insights exist. If you have a mailing program, you can get insights. If you have Instagram, you can get insights, and start to build out, like I said earlier, some of this stuff is just a hypothesis, but it's an educated hypothesis on who it is that you are trying to target and why. Because I'm not going to target them under 18-year-olds, not because they don't buy things, but because they don't have their own money. Like I've been to different events,
I think
ones that have a younger crowd and older crowd. The younger ones don't have enough money.
I think too, with the niche that Christina you're in, I have a client who she's an author and a transformative type of coach as well. And we had to really dig into who she was targeting. Like, that has been an ongoing conversation forever. And in that digging, it came out that she wanted high paying clients and at this certain like demographic of like age, right? So we sat there and said, okay, Instagram is solely going to be for branding for you, because everyone's going to look at you for branding on Instagram. Your demographic to where you're going to get clients is twofold. You're going to get them from LinkedIn by posting thought leadership articles and really kind of connecting with people in the same industry as you. Getting on panels would be really helpful for you too, Christina. And then the second thing that I drove home was being involved in Facebook groups that are relevant to the transformative cycles that you're specializing in. So if it's dealing with women who are single moms, dealing with people who've overcome traumas like rape, things along those lines, there are so many Facebook support groups. So joining them, having the conversation organically, not being too salesy, but having that time in your day where you like block time out for that. And then people will start to know you and they're like, oh, well, she's a licensed therapist. Oh, I could like get this, have a therapist that also can help me in my transformative phase. Because once people learn the real you, then they can open up as a client. That's what I tell her. So like, that's been lucrative for her, is this her LinkedIn strategy is becoming very lucrative. So I think nailing down your niche and then figuring out what groups you can target, it's probably not going to be on Instagram, just from what I've seen with my client. You're going to really, it's good to have those demographics like Yael was speaking about, but it's probably going to be dedicated Facebook groups and LinkedIn. That's probably where you're going to like find the most. And especially because you're a licensed therapist, anytime you publish an article, it's like going to get eaten up. So
to add to that too, from a social perspective, like depending on what platform, like whether you're on LinkedIn, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on Instagram, they're all social platforms, right? I think it's not enough to just post value. You have to, like Natasha said, be in those communities and engaging and talking to people. You can't just expect everyone to just read your post and come to you. Like, you have to do some of that work. And I mean, Facebook groups, like I'm in one in particular that is just a social group in Atlanta. And the other day I posted just like a roll call, like, hey, who here has a small business that I can support? Wasn't asking for anything, haven't sold any of my like services to them, but got like hundreds and hundreds of responses. And guess what? Now I have all of these profiles to go follow. And when it feels right, I can then start offering my services to them. But it's just like, it's very, very important to be in those groups. And even if you can't find them on Facebook, I know, Christina, you probably will find them on Facebook, but for people who are more strictly on Instagram, kind of like I am, hashtags are also community groups. I know that that's not people don't often talk about it that way, but you can follow hashtags and see what other people are posting to those hashtags, how they're talking, and like you can begin to start to find other people that are like-minded or that might need your services. Which is really important on Instagram as well. But yeah, to Gail's point, I think if you don't necessarily know your niche, like look at people who are regularly liking and commenting on your posts too. I know likes are a vanity metric, but if someone is, every single post is commenting and liking your post, like go look at their profile, go see what type of person they are and start to learn kind of things about them organically that way too. Like, I started my business trying to target restaurants in my local area, and my content was resonating way more with females. So I pivoted to female entrepreneurs because that's just who I was speaking to organically and naturally. So I think being open-minded about, like Nikki said, she was trying to go for business coaches or I'm trying to read quickly here, business trainers? I don't know if that's a word. Fitness trainers. Thank you. Business trainers. It's been a long day. fitness trainers. And then she realized like, wait, that's not actually who I want to go for. And she resonated better with moms. Like, I think pivoting your niche is also important. Like if you're just naturally resonating with another group of people, like why try to do all the hard work to talk to one person when you're already naturally talking to another? So just keep those in mind for any social profile you're on.
And everyone in this that's still here, I mean, it would have been applicable to Courtney and for Isabel as well, but really utilizing Facebook groups because there are communities for everything. Oh, Courtney's still here. But Facebook groups are so important because there is a niche for everything. There are drinking clubs, there are, craft cocktail clubs, there's pin clubs, there's,
hiking
makeup,
clubs, social clubs,
every single thing you can imagine. Get your interns on it if you don't want to be doing it, because it is going to be a lot of work to set that time aside. But, those are just things like even your local communities, like every town has its own Facebook group, blah, blah, blah. I mean, there's so much you can do and offer on there. So, I can stay on if anybody else wants to keep chatting. I want to be mindful of your guys' times. Really quick, there is one announcement. So Monday at noon, Kara's back and she's leading a free workshop. So tell all of your friends and fam and we'll make an announcement. It's basically about nailing down your ideal client and how to do so. So this would be really great for you to invite any of your fellow friends and family that are trying to start their own business. It's not a sales call. It's just a free workshop that she's doing. Again, it'll be Monday at noon. So we've done so much pivoting. Now it's like, let's get down to the nitty gritty and roll up our sleeves on that. So if anyone else, does anyone else have any questions or want to talk, like round out the struggles on finding the ideal client? Val?
Go for it.
I just wanted to add something real quick for Christina, and Kara actually taught me this, was you can say no to people. You don't, and this was especially true for me with art commissions, in thinking I had to take everything and thinking I had to do everything for everybody, and learning that I didn't need to do that, like I don't need to paint people's dead grandmas because it doesn't make me happy, so I was able to say no, and then that helped me then niche down my client a little bit more, and then those people weren't coming to me as much. So that was really powerful in learning that I can say no. I don't have to take everything that people are asking me to do.
Absolutely.
I need to listen to that. I still say yes to people just because I'm such a helper. I want to help everybody.
Val?
Start saying no when they can't afford my services. But
saying no is amazing, by the way. And just what I learned from Kara was a recent conversation you guys are probably in, where she was like, just leave your number and walk away, even if it's for a week. Because I did that recently. I was just like, this is my actual number for what they're asking me for, and I really want to work with this client, but they reached out to me, so some will fall off, but someone else will come in, and you're going to start attracting the ones that validate what you're looking for and that fill in that, this whole conversation is about attracting your ideal customer. If you don't want to do this thing, then don't make that the thing that you show off for your portfolio or that you do. If you don't want to devalue your work, then don't devalue your work. And for Christina, Natasha, and what everyone was saying earlier is super, super right. If you take a step back and you look at who the average age range is, or the people who utilize different social media services, it's different people. Instagram is a specific crowd. Facebook is a specific crowd. Tumblr is a specific crowd. Twitter is a specific crowd. And there's a crossover between them, right? But there's a majority aspect to who you will reach the most, depending on what platform you utilize. So figure out how those platforms can give you the information and the insights that you're looking for about who is actually interacting, who you can gather up as that baseline for you in regards to answering that solid with a straightforward answer, who your target demographic is. You can have an answer for that. Everyone in this group, anyone who's making a product, anyone who's building a business should know a straightforward answer for their why they're doing it, and a straightforward answer for their who. and then they can figure out the what along the way, like what they're delivering and how they're delivering it. Like those can be figured out along the way, but why they're doing it and who it's for is such an important thing. And we don't always allow ourselves the grace and the time to focus and dedicate that mission of figuring that stuff out. So I'm really glad that this lesson is happening this month.
And Val, I know you wanted to say something too.
Yeah, I was going to say, I love how you brought up the LinkedIn thing and the Facebook group. I totally agree with you guys. I think, so I always say this, I think one of the biggest mistakes we've made with Makeup Evolution was we focused on Instagram only. And our biggest year was like we would ask, we did a couple Google ads and like Yelp ads, but we would ask our clients like, oh, how'd you hear about us? And they're like, Instagram. And one of our biggest things was we knew how to sell to the client to come into the store, because our ideal client is the client who wants to learn how to do makeup at home on their own. The client who's tired of buying $300 of makeup, gets home and forgets how to use it. We target those clients. Like we educate them through the experience. So our biggest thing was the experience you get at Makeup Evolution is not a sales clerk at any other makeup retailer. You get like a full one-on-one, like educated experience where we teach you how to use the product. We ask you if you've done it before. And Instagram drove traffic into our store. But now, again, this year has been like the hardest year because we never really exhausted our online platforms. Like we didn't exhaust our website. We didn't exhaust our Google. We didn't exhaust our LinkedIn. And I think that's why we kind of took a dive. I don't take it as like as a loss, because it was time for us. We were overdue on exhausting these online platforms. So it kind of just pushed us to do it a little bit sooner than we've expected. But
I think, Valerie, I would challenge you to figure out how, and you and I have talked about this one off, but I would challenge you to figure out how to give that same level of service to people who are buying online. Like, is it YouTube videos that only, like, if you buy the product, can they go look at? Or is it some sort of write-up on how they can get the perfect smoky eye or whatever? Like, matching that same experience that you have in store to online is going to like shoot you guys further than anybody else.
Val and I have talked about doing one-on-one virtual consultations via Zoom. Because I have friends, like every single time I actually do my makeup and do my winged liner, they're like, how? I'm like, it's so easy.
Your winged liner tutorial, Natasha, blew my mind.
I'm like, it's so easy. This is literally how you do it. But it's one of those things, like I told Val, like it's like be above that curve because not a lot of people are doing it. And then 2 days ago, I got a message from Il Maquillage. They were doing virtual makeup consultations. I was like, no, I don't need you. But it goes to your point, Val, like you could post in your Inland Empire group, like, hey, we're doing like on Facebook, like we're doing virtual makeup consultations if you're still uncomfortable coming to the store, and then we can send you the product.
Yeah.
Working.
Like it's definitely, I totally, like it's something we've been working on. I think one of my biggest struggles right now is like the profit margin. Like we're barely making payroll, and now I have to bring in my staff an extra so many hours a week to teach them now how to pivot online when I'm barely trying to figure it out. So I think that's one of my biggest struggles, but I know like it's been in the works. And then I just had an accident. It's just, it could go so negative, right? But like, we just have to keep moving. And again, luckily, like kind of back to the whole Courtney thing, how she was saying, like, I have a good 32 orders in a row, and then I have 2 bad weeks. So like, I do feel like being in business for so many years, you kind of learn this as you go, and then you get stronger on the whole saying no thing and like the setting your value and setting your price. But another thing that I've learned, which this is the only reason why I think we're like really surviving this pandemic, is I've learned how to not, budget my money right. So like my first 2 years of business, we were 6 figures all the way, almost 7 in some cases. And I never spent on liabilities. I've always saved my money, and like I reinvested it in the business or saved it for future payroll. So I'm good this year. I've applied for grants, but I haven't really had to struggle as far as like the PPP goes and like all this other help, you know? I know I'm not losing my business, or I feel confident, unless this goes for another year. Maybe the money will start disappearing, you know? And I haven't lost staff, which is a great thing. So that whole, like when you do get those 32 orders in a row, Courtney, I always recommend, like, that's not it's not cash flow. It's not to go and like go shopping out because we're having a great week. It's save that money to reinvest in your business to triple your profit for, you know, to keep the profit going. So I definitely, the virtual thing is totally in the works. So hopefully we can give that same experience. Because if there's something
I know that you're going through a lot right now, and my thoughts and prayers are with you, because that was a horrible accident. But even if, you know, you can re-engage, like you have such a strong email list of previous customers too. Like even if you can re-engage them by sending out like an awesome email that says like, hey, in 2 weeks, we're going to do a revamp your quarantine look, like Zoom call, and just you get on live like how you are now and teach people how to do a new look. Like Natasha, I think you've probably seen this because you bought Il Makiage lately, but Il Makiage has really good email marketing, and they're doing like free makeup lessons all the time. And like, I never joined them because I don't care clearly. But they like, if I can find one in my inbox, I'll send it to you just for inspiration. But I just feel like anytime, like I remember saying to Natasha, like, wow, that was really cool. Like I've never seen any other large makeup brand like them do some sort of virtual like makeup lesson, and you're so good at it. Like you could tout your experience because you freaking worked with Ariana Grande. Like you need to hype yourself up online to all of your customers.
And another thing too, like even if we take the makeup people out, people are still using skincare. And I am so obsessed with that freaking Blood Dragon, whatever it's called, water. Like I'm gonna literally order 2 more from you. I'm so obsessed with it. But every Sunday religiously, I do a whole skincare regimen. So like, what if you did like a skincare Sunday like pack and do like a special gift to purchase or something like that, where, you know, or bite off of Ulta's 21 Days of Beauty, but do like your guys's 10 Days of Beauty, or for your birthday month, every day you guys have a new flash sale item, like, because it's a way to get repeat sales, repeat customers, and then like expose them to new products, you know, and film mini tutorials. That if you showed me that video of you with the water,
the dragon's blood,
I would like have bought it right then and there. That's why I was like, girl, I need this.
I know. That stuff's awesome.
But you know, I feel like even for those that like are like, nah, I'm good on makeup, like I'm not wearing it, I'm not really feeling it, people are still doing skincare. And I feel like that's still a really good market because skincare is expensive. So that's a good target to go after as well.
And I think even people like me who like obviously isn't wearing makeup, but I also like just don't have a great skincare routine. So if somebody's gonna provide a free video of like what I should be using and products that are, you know, not gonna break the bank either, like that would be so helpful as well. You think it's easy, you think it's skincare, but like there's so many products out there, and that's why I have almost just like shut down and not really done the research, because I don't want to go into the rabbit hole of like all these different products and like Drunk Elephant to Dragon's Blood. Like that makes my head hurt.
Val, you should
tell me what to use.
Val, you should put the link to the water thing I'm talking about on the Powerful Ladies, because I swear to God, you guys, it is a life changer. Like, I'm obsessed. I'm like, oh God, I'm like half a bottle.
Like Natasha to hype you up. That's all I gotta say. When she says I'm obsessed, I believe her. 1, because I trust her. 2, because I bought the winged eyeliner that she suggested.
I've done her makeup.
It is triple the price of anything I've ever paid for, because I'm not a makeup person. I paid $2. No, I'm just kidding. I'm like, more seriously though. But I buy it every time now, because I'm like, this is the best.
And it was a 2-second video she sent me, and now I feel like I know how to do a winged eyeliner. Like, it doesn't even have to be a long video.
people who know what you're talking about, people who can hype you up the way that Natasha does, and get them to bring their crew over to you at a time when you know these people are already buying. Natasha's buying. She knows people who are buying, you know? And she and people who know her trust her. I'm sure there's other people in your network that like also fall into that crew. So let's play a game of like, can I get one person? Can I get 3 people? Can I get 5 people to hype me up in their social network in some degree, and see if I can pull it in for this goal, like set a goal that you have for a specific promotion or product, and see if you can just have fun getting your hype crew together.
Val, do you still have your promo code for the Powerful Ladies? Is it still active?
So right now our code is happy birthday. We're doing 33% off 3 items or more. 30% off. We've never done that.
Order today. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to end the call because I know everyone needs to jump off.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much. This was so fun to lead the call today and chat with all of you guys. I appreciate and love you all so much. And we'll be back on Monday with Karen. Again, if you guys ever need anything, feel free to reach out to me too. I'm happy to help collaborate.
Okay, wait, before
Natasha,
before you end it and Val can go. Besides this dragon's blood, whatever, I need you to recommend 2 more items so that I can go.
Oh, Val. Oh my God. Yeah, Val's like, literally, tell her, like, that dragon's blood, I swear to God, I love that thing.
Yeah, it's so good.
Of like what it does and how to use it, because I don't know what it is.
So I'll tell you how I use it because I'm very lazy. So you see how much makeup I put on today for the call.
Yeah.
I literally take a makeup wipe and take my whole face off, and then I will use like a cleanser. But if I'm too lazy, then I use the dragon's blood on like a cotton like round, and it takes everything off that my makeup wipe missed. And there's days too where like I'll put my skincare on, go to bed, right? And in the morning, if I want to like use like a different moisturizer that's like maybe more oil controlling for during the day or whatever, I'll refresh my face with the dragon's blood and then like put my serum and my moisturizer on. It is so good. Yeah.
We call it the minute someone says they're career driven or